Live! That's right, boys and girls, we are live, and we're looking forward to the 2025-2026 Carabao Cup. That's right, all kicks off good and proper next week, of course, but who will get off to the best possible start? Who will make it through to round two? Well, we're going to take a look at all of it in just 1 second. If you're new, where you've been, smash your subscribe. You want to subscribe for Blackburn Rovers, Carabao Cup, World Football. We're going to all hear under one rooski. That's right, in this live interactive stream here, we're going to take a look at the southern section, and at the top of the next hour, we're going to come back for the northern section. That's right. We ain't mucking around here, guys. Each and every one of the games that are going to be taking part in this season's Carabao Cup will be covered right here. And we're going to get into it in just 1 second. Big shout out to the members and the patrons. You know who you are. But today, we're going to get into it right here, right now. So let's jump into my old vortex, which is this. We're going to take a look at the Carabao Cup, and right now we are looking at the southern games only. I do believe there's around about 16 of them, and they should be on the screen right about now. So if you are in the chat, let me hear your voice. Let me get in there. Let me know that you're watching. We're going to go through. I haven't even put the score lines in here. These are all blank. We're going to do it live. We're going to do it interactive. So let me know what you think. Maybe you could convince me to change the score. I'll put your scoreline in here. So we're going to do it right here, right now. I'm going to start with a trip to Wales. That's right, Swansea City. They're going to be taking on Crawley this coming Tuesday. I do believe it's the 12th of August. Swansea under Alan Sheeran at a championship up against Crawley. Scott Lindsay right back there into League Two. They played each other twice in 2012. 2 wins out of 2 for Swansea. One was a friendly. Don't really care about that one. The other one, the important one, was way back in September 2012. Good morning, Peter Fry. Welcome to the stream, brother. So the last time I played competitively was in this own competition, but it was in Crawley. Now, of course, both sides are in action this weekend. Swansea going to Middlesbrough. Peter Fry's boys right there. Crawley will be taking on a Newport County in an all, I was going to say all Welsh thing there, but it's not Welsh because they ain't Welsh. But coming at you right here, right now, do I have any odds? I think I've got some odds. Let me just hop on over to the odds screen. Anyone want to have a jump in here while I look at it? We've got, who are we talking about here? We've got, I don't even know if we have odds. Screw the odds. I'll tell you who's the favourite. Of course, it's going to be Swansea City. Full ado. Good morning. What are we thinking about this game? Of course, Swansea City overwhelming favoured here. I'm going to go with, there's going to be some upsets in this competition. Is this going to be one of them? No, I don't think so. We're going to go 2-0 in favour of Swansea City. Meanwhile, we're going to stay in Wales. That's right. Peter Fry's also got the same scoreline as me. Well done, you. We're going to stick it in it. Sticking it Wales. We're going to go to Newport County. They're going to be taking on a Millwall. That's right. Also on the 12th of August. Let's get into the rebound on this one. Now they played just once, these two sides, and this one, of course, over at Newport County. Coming into David Hughes' boys over in League Two, start the season in okay shape with a draw against fellow county side Notts. Meanwhile, Millwall, Alex Neil at the helm, they had a great pre-season coming into this, of course, and they'll be kicking off their campaign against Norwich tomorrow. That's right. Goodness gracious me. Again, they have played each other once. It was in the FA Cup way back in January 2020. It was over in London, of course. And again, when you look at the odds for this one, Millwall massive favourites here. Peter Fry's agreeing with that. I think it's going to be a win for Millwall. I'm going to go with a 3-1 win. For them on the road. I'm going to go with that. Yeah, a couple of little however score lines. Everyone's on the same wavelength. We're doing it, guys. We're doing it right here, right now. Meanwhile, we're going to go to Coventry City. That's right. They're going to be taking on Luton Town, one of the games of the round. Of course, Luton, a couple of seasons ago, they were in the Prem de la Prem. Meanwhile, Coventry trying to get into the Prem de la Prem and hoping to get for the best possible start. This is coming out of the RCA Arena. Coventry with Frank Lampard at the helm. Luton with Matt Bloomfield. And it has been a good start for them in the league. Of course, they got their first win. Day one, match one, Luton Town. But now taking on the Peterborough United tomorrow. Coventry up against Hull City. Now, these two sides are familiar foes. They played 18 times in 2005. 5 wins Coventry, 7 wins Luton. There's been 6 draws. The last time they played at this very venue was in the Championship just last season. 3-2 winners it was for Coventry. So, but if you roll back the years over the last 6, again, they did play in that Championship playoff final. But if you roll back the years, Luton are just the one loss against Coventry over the last 6. We've got Coventry on penalties. We've got Fuladu with a 3-2 win for Cov on this one. This one's difficult. I'm going to go with Coventry. There's a lot of talent lost here by Luton Town. So I think they're not going to be as superior as they hope. So we'll see what comes out in the wash. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win. Lampard's boys with a W. A couple of tight ones in there. We'll get to Exeter in a little minute, Adam. Let's get to that. Did I say the bookies odds? Bookies are back in Coventry quite heavily on this one. Let's go Bristol City up against MK Dons. It's coming at you at Thrashton Gate Championship Club up against a League Two club. Of course, Paul Warne at the helm now these days for MK Dons up against Bristol City and Gerhard Struber. That's right. Again, familiar foes. These two sides played 12 times since 2004. We have 7 wins Bristol City, no wins MK Dons. There has been 5 draws between the two sides. Coming at you, last time they played at Ashton Gate competitively, it was a 1-1 scoreline way back in October 2015. It's been a long time, over 10 years since they last played. Bristol City will take on the Blades this weekend. It's a toughie to start for them in the Championship. MK Dons opening up their account with a 0-0 draw against Oldham this past weekend, taking on Barrow tomorrow. They're expected to just about nick that result on that one. We have some picks in the house. We've got Peter Fry has gone with a 4-0 scoreline. We've got Fuller Du with a 2-1 win for Bristol City as well. So a couple of guys jumping in the deep end with heavy wins in favour of Bristol City. And again, Bristol City are one of those, especially at their backyard. They're going to win this one. And I'm going to go with a 3-0 win. And that is, again, I didn't predetermine these picks. We are making them live. Your influence is swaying me. Maybe we'll get the perfect scorelines. Of course, we're all in agreement, I think, so far. But this one might be a little bit more tricky. It is Bristol Rovers taking on Cambridge United, coming at you at the Memorial Stadium or Memorial Field, whatever you want to call it. Of course, it's a League Two encounter. Bristol Rovers with Darryl Clark at the helm, up against Cambridge under Neil Harris. Familiar foes, played 15 times in 2002, 9 wins Bristol Rovers, 5 wins Cambridge, and just the 1 draw between the two sides. The last time they played over at this very venue was a 2-0 win for Bristol Rovers. In fact, Bristol Rovers have won 3 on the bounce against Cambridge. I haven't conceded a goal against them and only losing once in the last 6 against Cambridge. Cambridge, though, opening up their account with a 1-0 win against Cheltenham. Bristol Rovers losing to Harrogate this past weekend and are going to take on Fleetwood Town, who, of course, I think they top the charts right now with Cambridge taking on Swindon. Bookies for this one is tight. They do go in favour of Bristol Rovers. We've got Cambridge on pens, 1-0 win Cambridge. I do like that. I'm going to go, there's going to be some penalty shootouts, you would imagine. Let's make this one of them. I'm going to go in agreement with you on the Cambridge on pens. And I do believe the situation is 90 minutes and then penalties. But Curry, you're going to correct me if I'm wrong, if that's the case. Meanwhile, we go Leyton Orient against Wycombe in an all-League One encounter over at Brisbane Road. It's Richard Welland's boys up against Mike Dodds. They played 16 times, these two sides, in 2004, 5 wins for the Orient, 9 wins for Wycombe. There's been 2 draws between the two sides. Last time they played over at this very venue, it was a 1-0 win for the Orient way back in April 2025. The last 3 at this very venue, 1-1, lost 1, drew 1. So the points split between them. And over the last 6, Wycombe have won 4 of them, and they've only lost the one. So that one loss was the most recent one. Wycombe, though, losing opening day against Bradford City. They're going to be taking on Stockport County this weekend. So tricky kind of start to the season for Wycombe, losing to Bradford. They could probably lose to Stockport, and then they got to take on the Orient in the Cup. Meanwhile, the Orient did lose to Huddersfield quite badly, looking to bounce back against the tricky Wigan side. So both sides could come into this on back-to-back defeats when you look at it, and the odds don't even know. They split them right down the middle. This is a tight one. Could go either way. Peter Fry's going with the penalties, Leyton Orient for Fuller Du. I am going to go with the Orient. I think they're going to be in a better shape for this one. I think it's going to be tight. Going to go with a 2-1 win on the night at Brisbane Road. So I've got to agree with one of you. Let's kick it on forward then to the next one. It is Watford against Norwich in an all-championship encounter. This one's coming at you over at Vicarage Road. That's right, Paolo Pozzolano up against Norwich under Liam Manning. Both sides with a new coach. Both sides will get their first managerial starts this coming weekend in the Championship. But of course, they'll be locking horns straight away in an all-championship encounter. Played 37 times, these two clubs, since 1995. 19 Watford, 14 wins for Norwich. There's been 4 draws between the two sides. The last time they played at Vicarage Road was a 1-0 win for Norwich, who did the double over Watford last season. In fact, they're 3 games unbeaten against Watford, winning all 3 of them. Coming at you, though, Norwich will take on Millwall this weekend. They're expected to win that game. Watford going to Charlton. Very tight between those two. It could go either way. The bookies for this, though, again, they don't know. They don't know which way to go on this one. I think they think Norwich are the strongest side, but Watford being at home might give them the edge. This was, again, tight in the chat here. We got Peter Fry, 3-2 win Norwich, Fuller 2 with a 1-0 win for Watford. I am going to probably go with a championship. I know it's not a championship match, but it is on paper. I'm going to go with, when you look at this, think about the depth of the squad. They're going to play their second string, and I've already got reservations about Watford. So I'm going to go 2-0, big 2-0 away win for Norwich City on this one. Yes, I'm going like that. Meanwhile, Charlton, that's right. Nathan Jones are back in the championship. They're going to be taking on Stevenage, coming at you out of League One. That's coming at you at the Valley as well on the 12th of August. Now, these two sides have played 9 times since 2011. 5 wins for Charlton, 2 wins for Stevenage. 2 draws between the two sides. Coming at you, Nathan Jones and Alex Revel in the dugouts. They last played last season in League One. It was a 2-0 win for Charlton, of course. But over the last 4, it's quite even between the two sides. A win apiece and a draw, 2 draws between the two sides. Last time, of course, Stevenage picked up a 3-2 win away to Blackpool. Big win for them. I've tipped them to go down. They're going to take on Rotherham United this weekend, where they're expected to win that game. Charlton, of course, opened up with a kind of Greater London encounter up against Watford, where they're just about favourites to win that game. But the bookies have Charlton as favoured for this one. Luton Town fan, have we done you yet? I don't even know. Have we done? We have done Luton. Unfortunately, we got them losing, but it's okay. We've got Peter Fry with a 2-0 win for Charlton. Foladu with a 2-0 win as well. Yes, they have been quite active in the transfer market, and I don't think everyone's going to be ready for the first game. Let's go 3-1. 3-1 win Charlton against the Stevenage side, who I do think will be there for the taking. Meanwhile, let's go to Oxford United against Colchester, of course. Oxford under Gary Rowett against Colchester and Danny Cowley. Have I played each other just the one time, these two clubs? Since 2003, long time ago. It was when Colchester beat Oxford in the FA Cup. Way back in 2003. Oxford will get their campaign against Pompey off tomorrow. They're expected to just win that game. Their home form is pretty deadly. Colchester, of course, opening up with a 1-1 against Tranmere, taking on Oldham this weekend, where they might just nick something in that game. Bookies have Oxford. There's going to be a shock along the way. I think I'm in line with you, Foladu. Yeah, I'm going to go with the surprise win. Again, the depth is not overwhelming for Oxford. So I'm going to go just a 1-0 win, I think, for Colchester to surprise us. Cowley likes to keep a clean sheet, so we're going to do that for this one. Let's go Cardiff. They were in action last night, so they're all fully focused on the next one of the games. Taking on a Swindon City. Is it Swindon City? It should be. Swindon Town. They're taking on Swindon Town. So Cardiff City gets Swindon Town. It's got me all tongue twisted, that one. Coming at you over in Wales on the 12th of August. Barry Murphy started off okay so far as manager. Back-to-back games now unbeaten up against Swindon, and Ian Holloway, of course, kicked off their campaign with a loss against high-flying potential promotion chasers Walsall. Now, these two sides have played just twice since 2003. 1 win for Cardiff, nothing for Swindon. There has been 1 draw. That draw was a competitive game, the only competitive game, and it was back in League One, way back on New Year's Day, 2003, where football began on this website. Anyway, Walsall did beat Swindon most recently. Cardiff on the back of back-to-back unbeaten streaks so far. 2-1 win over Peterborough, and of course a 0-0 over Port Vale. The odds for this, they give it to Cardiff. Cardiff were, they should win this game, and that's a curveball for any of the clubs who do make it through to the second round. I think Cardiff can beat you. I'm going to go 3-1 as well on this one. Quite a high score line. Yeah, just like Fuller do. We're on it. Cardiff are rubbish in the Carabao Cup. I think they're going to have enough in the tank to beat Swindon, especially at home, especially if it's a good attendance. Meanwhile, we're going to go Gillingham up against Wimbledon in a southern encounter here. This one's coming at you at Priestfields. Is that what they call it these days? I don't even know. Gareth Ainsworth boys up against Wimbledon and Johnny Jackson. That's right. Gillingham have played Wimbledon 23 times since 2011. 7 wins Gillingham, 10 wins Wimbledon. There's been 6 draws between the two sides. The last time they played at Gillingham was back in April 2025. 1-0 win it was for the Gills. The last 5 between these two sides have all resulted in a home win, and they have all been in League Two. The last time they played in the League Cup was actually this stage of the competition way back in August 2022, but it was in Wimbledon. Gillingham coming out on top. The Gills are on the back of a 1-1 draw against Stanley. They're going to take on Walsall this weekend. Wimbledon on the back of a 1-0 loss to Luton. They're going to be taking on Lincoln this weekend. in League One. Did I say this is not an old League One encounter? It's League Two versus League One. Tricky one. This one, Peter Fry's gone Gillingham on pens. We got full to do with a 1-0 win for Wimbledon. It does feel like that. It does feel again. We got to throw some away wins in here. So I'm going to go with a 1-0 win for Wimbledon. As much as I want Gillingham to succeed, I'm a big fan of Ainsworth. He's a Rovers fan. He's got Bradley Dack at the helm as well. So yeah. Well, what if Luton beat Coventry on Tuesday? Well, let's hope you do. Hey, the result, I'd love to see Luton win over Coventry just to dampen their own championship dreams. But hey, you know what? It's a chance for you guys to rotate the squad a little bit, give it, give a chance for some other guys. Moving forward, we've got Northampton Town against Southampton. It's the Battle of the Hamptons coming at you over at Sixfields. Northampton with Kevin Nolan at the helm up against Southampton with Will Still. They have played 4 times in 2004, and each and every one of the previous times have been in the Cups. That's right. We got 4 wins out of 4 for Southampton. The last time they played at this very venue was in the FA Cup back in November 2009. 3-2 winners it was for the Saints. They've scored 3, 6, 9, 11 goals against Northampton Town over the course of those 4 matches. So what's that? Just averaging around about 3.5 goals a game. Is that right? It's 2.75 goals a game, according to my statistics up there. Of course, Southampton will take on Wrexham tomorrow. We got Northampton Town who have opened up with a loss against Wigan, following that up with a match against Bradford City, where they're expected to lose that game as well. The bookies for this one, of course, they're going overwhelmingly so with the Saints, who are in the visitors' dugout. Do we have a surprise on our hands on this one? I can't see it. Again, they have a humongous squad. How basic will they go with the squad? Let's go. I think I'm going to go 3-0 win the Saints. It could be 4. Peter Fry's gone 5-1. Fuller Do's gone with a 4-0 win as well. We are live, guys, so get in there with your picks. Then we go to Plymouth Argyle up against Queen's Park Rangers, coming at you over at home field, whatever. It's down the south. It's a long way to go wherever you are in the world, or especially in the UK. Green Army up against QPR out of the Championship. That's right. They played 21 times in 2003. Plymouth with Tom Cleverley at the helm, Julian Stefan, the coach for QPR. Like I said, 21 times they played. 6 wins Plymouth, 5 wins Rangers, 10 draws between the two sides. The last time they played at this very venue, though, it was a 1-0 win for QPR back in January 2025. A lot of draws between these two sides. 4 of the last 6 have ended up all square between the two sides, and they've exchanged victories over the last 4 or 5 matches. They did play each other in the EFL Cup way back in September 2020 at this very venue, and we had a goal fest. We had 5 goals in it, 3-2 winners it was for Plymouth Argyle. Plymouth, though, losing to Barnsley opening day at home. They got a tricky game this weekend at Bolton. QPR kicking it all off against Preston North End. They're expected to win that game. And this one at QPR, at Plymouth, is tight between the bookies. We're going to go. Foladu's going with a 3-0 win. Wow. Peter Fry's going with a 2-1 for QPR as well. Foladu says Poku is dangerous. So it's at Plymouth, guys. So far, Cleverly, though, he needs to bounce back. And I think with that Bolton game, it's a massive start for the season for them. And I do think this is going to be, honestly, it's going to be, when Blackburn Rovers have gone to Plymouth over the past, handful of games, we've not had a result. I think they're very tricky. They can be a very tricky place to go. I'm going to go 2-1 win, Plymouth. Surprise, curveball. We'll see about that. Next up, though, we go Pompey. We're going to go Portsmouth against Reading. Something spicy as well. Got a bit of extra flavour here. Is it the John Swift derby? It is. It's John Mousinho's boys up against Reading and a Noel Hunt. They played 22 times, these two sides, since 1994. 11 wins Portsmouth, 4 wins Reading, 7 draws between the two sides. The last time they played at Fratton Park, it was a 4-1 win for Pompey back in February 2024. That was in League One. Competitively, Portsmouth have done the double a couple of seasons back against Reading, scoring 7 goals in the 2 games they played against each other. However, they did play each other in the Cup. This Cup, back in August 2015, was in the second round. Reading came out on top with a 2-1 win, and that also was at Fratton Park. Reading losing to Lincoln most recently. I think this could be a very horrible start for Reading, and could also be one of the first managerial casualties in League One. Reading against Huddersfield Town. Everyone's tipping them to go up and flying. Portsmouth take on Oxford this weekend. It's a tough start for them. Bookies, though, have Pompey on this one. Who's John Mousinho? Nah, it's gonna be Portsmouth. We're gonna go 2-0 win. John Swift to score a free kick. you watch it. Into the final couple we go. Bromley up against Ipswich Town. It's coming at you over at Bromley. Slightly later kickoff than what did I say? Bromley against Ipswich Town. Slightly later kickoff than others. Andy Woodman's boys up against Kieran McKenna. Coming at you over at Bromley. Now, they've never played each other according to my data, but Bromley coming into this on the back of a 0-0 draw against the Shrews. They're taking on Barnet this weekend in a match that could go either way. Ipswich tipped to go very, very far. They kick off their campaign tonight against hotly fancied Birmingham City in the league. And actually, Birmingham City are favoured for the victory on that game. Ipswich, we got a 3-0 win for Ipswich. We've got a 5-0 win for Foladu for Ipswich on this one. It could be like that, guys. It could be like that. We could see Smolich get a hat-trick. I think this could be one of the big ones. I'm not going to go that generous. I'm going to go 4-0 win Ipswich Town. Again, you want to kind of avoid them moving forward. Checking on the old Luton Peterborough United. I think I went Luton Town, but there is go to channel, look on the old live streams. I did the League One prediction there. Meanwhile, Cheltenham, they're going to be taking on Exeter City. That's right. This is coming at you. Where is this? This is on Wednesday, the 13th of August. A handful of games on the Wednesday. Cheltenham under Michael Flynn up against Exeter and Gary Caldwell. They've played 22 times since 2012. 7 wins Cheltenham, 12 wins Exeter. There's been 3 draws between the two sides. The last time they played at this very venue was a 2-1 win for Exeter back in April 2024, when both these sides were in League One. Exeter have actually got back-to-back wins over Cheltenham. Coming into this, so Exeter losing to Doncaster most recently, taking on Blackpool this weekend in a match they're expected to lose. Cheltenham losing to Cambridge this past weekend, taking on Chesterfield at this weekend, also expected to lose that game. But the bookies, they're very kind of split on this one. I think Exeter just about have it. Foladu's gone with a 1-0 win. Peter Fry's gone with a penalty shootout win here. I'm going to go Cheltenham. We have quite a few home victories here. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Cheltenham to upset the apple cart. It's a small upset. And that, my friends, is the northern section of the bloody draw there. We're going to come back in about 30 minutes. I'm going to top up my brew. If I can get out of here. There we go. We're going to top up my brew and come back, recharge the blocks, and we take a look at the northern section. That's right. As, of course, that includes Blackburn Rovers and others. So make sure you come back, recharge your blocks, go stretch your legs, take the dog out for a shit, and all that kind of good stuff. I'll see you soon, though, when I return. But until then, guys and girls, I'm out of here. Back in a jiffy.